Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Veerman, and I'm here with my friend and trusted producer, Max Kerman. Max, what's up?
Not much.
And we are also here with our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. Shane, what's going on?
Yo, yo, yo.
Guys, this weekend, we were lucky enough to have our first ever live pod. It was sold out. We raised a bunch of money for lupus, and we did the damn thing.
We done did it.
Yeah. How is everyone feeling about it?
Oh, man. You know what? Going into the night, I was feeling pretty good about it. And, you know, we have such an awesome team. So Webmaster Dan, Manager Ash, Felix, Serge at the Rivoli, all these people were really putting in extra work to make us feel comfortable on stage. And so I had a good feeling about how it was going to go.
Yeah.
And I was already thinking, okay, what's the next show we're going to do? Like, you know, how can we take this thing on the road?
Yeah.
But it went so good that I think we just have to quit.
I know. No, that was my idea too. Yeah. I was like, that was amazing. Let's never do that again.
Yeah, because it was truly magical. It's like it felt so good on stage. The room was perfect. Nobody said a peep when they were supposed to be listening, and when they were supposed to be laughing, it like erupted every time.
The crowd was phenomenal. So those of you who are listening that were there at the Rivoli in Toronto on Friday night, thank you guys. You were like the best fucking crowd that we could have ever have asked for.
And Shane, I remember going into it, you're like, are they going to be talking the whole time?
Well, Mike and I had a really bad experience trying to host something once.
At the Horseshoe.
It was the exact opposite of that atmosphere. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a paranoid thought.
And a huge part of the night was our amazing guest, hilarious, insightful, so cool, Catherine Reitman from Working Moms.
It was so cool. She was so cool.
She was the best.
You know, we, a little backstory, when we were trying to think about who we could get as a guest for the live show, we had a little brainstorm, and I think Manager Ash said, what about Catherine Reitman? Working Moms is a hot show. To keep this from becoming too much of a dude party, we should probably have a female guest, and we agreed with all that stuff. And, you know, she has history in improv, and she did training at Groundlings.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But I knew she was funny. So when we reached out, she was the first person we reached out to. And we got her to say yes, like within 24 hours, which was so lucky, which usually things of this nature are a little bit harder to pull off.
Well, this is kind of the nature of the podcast in general, is it's like everybody's like, oh, who's the special guest? Who's the special? People kept asking me, and they thought that I was being coy. And I'm like, you'll have to see. Really? We were just procrastinating. I was like, I actually have no idea what we're going to do.
Max is doing something about this.
I was like, I'm just going to have faith that Max. So I just be like, oh, got to see. And again, so when we did sort of have that meeting and we were throwing around names, and then her name came up, and we were all like, yeah, she'd be great. And then you actually just made it happen.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, just the you know, the podcast gods were smiling on us. And so we had a good call with her publicist, Alina, before, and we were kind of setting everything up, and we were making sure that her and her family could come. She's just said it was going to be her husband was going to come, and maybe a couple of other actors from the show. And then we get an email that her parents want to come, and her parents are, of course,
Ivan Reitman.
Her mother is also an actress.
Yeah.
But Ivan's obviously one of the most iconic, famous directors of all time. He directed Ghostbusters.
But the Rivoli looked awesome. Like the lights were perfect. The size of the room was perfect. We had DJ Simon Jane.
Yeah, Simon was great as well.
He rolled in with 15 minutes before the start, and I was like, this is going to be a nightmare. Because I just thought all the cues, the audio cues, the music were going to be screwed up. But he was pretty proficient with
He's
that.
He's the pro. Like, he definitely was stressing us out because it was like doors were at 9. Simon literally rolls in at 8:45 when he was supposed to. We were like all there for 6 for rehearsals and stuff. So I was like,
Simon did say he was going to be there for 4:30.
Classic Simon. And then he just comes rolling in with his decks at like, 8:45. And I'm kind of like, oh man. But then, he just set it up, took his notes, and he nailed it. So he was great. So thanks to him.
So any other highlight? Oh, we also had the shout out to Lights.
Oh my God.
Two-time guest. She ended up doing the Q&A.
That was so nice of her to actually. So she in the crowd at near the end of the night did the Q&A. She was the girl that ran up with the microphone and everything, and she was like sort of taking questions in the crowd, and she was awesome at it. She's so personable. She's like, "What's your name? Where are you from?"
Where are you from? Yeah, it was great.
And, you guys, I didn't know anything. Like you guys always say, you don't know what's going to happen for the dessert, but I had no idea what you guys had planned for the opening. I was like, oh, these guys are going to be kind of loose. It could just be, sometimes we don't come out with
any planned material
and it doesn't work. But you guys were like professional comedians right off the top. And I'm sitting there too, because sometimes, you know, I do contribute off the top, but I was so frozen from how good you guys were being. I'm like, I don't want to say shit now. Like, you guys are murdering like I've never seen murder. Like, Max pulls out like an email bit too. I'm like, this is new, like reading emails.
That was so funny.
And it just slayed in the craziest way that I was freezing on the stage. And I had Greg and Sean, your brother Greg, and his friend and my good friend Sean Menard, just watching me, and I could see them snickering and laughing at how frozen I was.
Oh, really?
Which obviously exacerbated the situation.
Well, you know what's funny is that before the show, and we'll get to it, but you had to remember a lot of stuff. Number one, you had this whole elaborate slideshow presentation for the dessert, but you also had a rap battle that you were thinking about. And so when Catherine came into the room, you hardly said hi to her because you were just transfixed.
This is backstage.
This is backstage.
Oh, no, I did not want to speak to her at all, because if I open that floodgate, I could get trapped in a conversation, and I need to go rehearse before the show, and I can't be trapped in some conversation where I need to be polite. So I'm just like, I'm going to just be the most, like, I'm antisocial anyway, but I'm going to be the most antisocial I can be and just avoid anyone from putting off the vibe that I want to have a conversation.
Well, yeah, and so we had a little break between the interview and the dessert.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of, it's like we were freezing the free throw shooter. It's like, you know, when you call a timeout, just to make you think about it a little bit more.
Well, because in that break, so the way the show was set up is we came out, we did like an open, and then we brought Catherine out. She did an amazing interview. She was so fucking good. Like, she was just like good on her feet. Like I said, her answers were insightful, but she was so funny and just like, you know, willing to sort of like play ball and goof around on stage, and it was great. So that ends, and like you said, we come off and we have that little intermission, and then we're going to come out, and it's really going to kind of be the Shane show from that point on. We're just sort of piping in here and there. It's his dessert, and then it's going to be the rap battle with the nut. But in that break where we came off after the first part of the show, we were like flying, man. Like we were like, that went so good, and like Catherine was all jacked, and we were all super happy. What were you thinking as we walked out?
I was like, well, now it's Shane's time to perform, and you guys had killed it. And as happy as I was for you, I'm like, that's a fucking tough act to follow, what these guys just did. And I just felt the weight of the world on my shoulders, to steal a cliche expression. And, you know, Max had promised me everything was going to go great with the PowerPoint presentation. But of course, the computer and the presentation was freezing a lot, and I lost all confidence in the bit.
Yeah. And
I needed to have a technical guy on stage to help me, because I lost faith in my ability to even push a space bar. Happens to the best of us, I guess. So I had the technical guy who set up the PowerPoint presentation for me come on stage, and instead of hitting the space bar, I would tap him on the shoulder, because if anything went wrong, he would know how to get it back on track, was my idea.
So shouts to Felix.
And also that technical person was Felix, who also designed all the merch that we had out that night. So he's kind of a, you know,
jack of all trades.
Yeah, man.
And by the way, the dessert was a opus. It was incredible. You had them hanging off.
Oh, it went
every word.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Are we going to be able to play that dessert somehow?
Yeah.
Okay, so all these things we're talking about, we will get to in a future episode.
So for all of you listening that weren't in the room, and you do want to hear what went down the night, we recorded everything. We have the live episode with Catherine and everything that we've just discussed. That will be out later in February, I believe.
Can we bill this as the greatest episode of all time?
The one we're recording right now? It's been all right.
No, the live show.
Sure.
Would you say that, though?
I mean, yes.
Well, for listeners, like I maybe in a weird way, like how do you describe like the feeling of something like that? Like, it's like there's a lot of energy. It's just different, like being in a situation like that. There's like anxiety leading up, and then when you're in it, when people talk about doing live things, there's like, you really are, like, anything can happen, and there's just this sort of like feeling of kind of free falling, and then when it's done, it's kind of the best high in the world. And I've tried a lot of drugs.
Oh yeah, like I've been in the situation of course I was referencing this earlier, where I bombed on stage and I hid in a bathroom stall for 2 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
And nothing's worse than that feeling. And the exact opposite, nothing's better than when you're doing something on stage and things are going well.
Yeah.
Like it is the greatest high.
Yeah, and we had all of our family and friends there, which was cool. But then, and they couldn't have been nicer. So we'd like, you know, just people like.
I did not tell anyone about this show, by the way. Like for
Oh,
me.
really?
Like my mom and dad did not know.
I was
this going
wondering
on.
where
they didn't
your
come?
mom was.
I know the person.
I get terrified.
But
of people.
Tiffany came, right?
I don't know how she found out about it. I didn't tell her. I guess she follows social media.
Sure.
His sister showed it.
Yeah, no,
I have no idea how she figured it out.
but my parents came, and my dad listens to the pod a bit. My mom doesn't listen to the pod, which I'm kind of happy about. And I was a little interested to see what she'd make of all sort of the potty talk and all the drinking talk and stuff like that. But she loved it. And my childhood friends, parents, Leslie and Bruce, they came, and they like. People who don't know you guys personally or don't know sort of like the vibe of the show or who the Champagne Boys are, they were like riveted. And it was a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we kind of breezed through in 45 minutes. It was like a full evening of entertainment.
Yeah, and again, like, it just sounds like we're all sitting around here being like, no, you're great. No, you're great.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Don't misinterpret what we're saying, guys.
Yeah, you can just tell we're still so high off
I know,
the show.
it's true, it's true. So sorry if this has been mildly unbearable. It's the first time the three of us have been together since the show.
Okay,
so.
let's get to some things that weren't part of the show. So afterwards, Shane, you couldn't even leave the place, right? You were trying to, but you were stuck in the Rivoli for like 2 hours or something?
I had... from practicing and doing everything, I started losing my voice a little bit. So I just wanted, we had a hotel room. So I tried to leave after the show, but it took about 2.5 hours to get from the stage to the door because people are so nice. And, you know, people flew from Winnipeg. I was talking to people who drove from Ottawa.
Christine and Sandra came from Winnipeg.
Which is insane.
All
so you'd
the way.
be crazy not to give them the time of day or brush them
drove
off.
up from Windsor. Like
Justice from Windsor, yeah. And we got to meet all these people. And to your point, it's like you want to talk to them. It's these people invest in listening to us.
And it's not like you're doing them a favor. At that point, you're so narcissistic. You just want to, like, look at us now. Like, all we want is more back patting, right? So, and so then you get addicted to the praise, and then you want to talk more.
You're just kind of looking around the room.
Exactly. Like, all right, next in line, let's take a photo. And then, I ended up getting out at like 1. And I couldn't sleep because, you do arenas and stuff. I don't perform live in front of people. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard to get to sleep. And I was just, I think I watched the live feed we had on Instagram, like from top to back.
It's great. It reminded me of like my band days. It's just there was way more people in the room to see us.
Right, yeah.
How did Roy Boy feel about the whole thing? Did he have any takes, any criticisms, any ideas?
Roy Boy is Mike's dad.
Yeah, by the time I saw my dad, he was flying. Because again, like once we came out after the show from backstage, you were talking. You were always engaged in a conversation, and you grabbed me a couple times, Max, and like you're like, oh, these people want to meet you. So I kind of saw my dad like an hour and a half after the show, and he was already enjoying himself.
All I know is I got a text from Light saying she was very hungover the next day because Roy Boy was giving her shots.
Oh my goodness. I heard a story. I don't know how accurate this is. I heard it from my brother, but apparently my dad was talking to Ivan Reitman.
Really?
And I was immediately like, oh, good God. I was like, how did that go? And I guess in this conversation, he's like, oh, like you're a legend. You did Ghostbusters. He's like, you're amazing and you're famous. He's like, I'm just amazing.
Yeah. Your dad told me that story.
That's what my dad said. And then I guess Ivan, being really nice, says, oh, what do you do? And my dad said, anything over 35. This is according to my brother. And I was just like, oh, goodness gracious. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, man, Ivan was probably like, oh, that was a nice show. Those are nice boys. And then, my dad lays that line on him. Like he's fucking Andrew Dice Clay or something like.
Well, your dad took the photo of my father-in-law, mother-in-law with Ivan.
Yeah.
He was just sauntering by and grabbed the photo, and I think that's where the conversation struck us.
So then it's your in-laws' fault that my dad had interaction with Ivan Reitman.
Well, I think John was having quite a bit of a conversation.
Oh, yeah,
with
your
him.
father-in-law.
My father-in-law wrote a song, and he used there's lyrics about Ivan Reitman in the song. So
what year was this song written?
This song was written 2 years ago. Okay. It's called the Canada Song. Oh, okay. And it's all about famous Canadian celebrities. Ivan Reitman, of course, is one, and went to McMaster University. So he was singing the song to Ivan Reitman.
It's like our parents can't calm themselves, like, oh my God. So that happened. My brother also told me another story, and we got to give a big shout out to Kai and the boys who came down from Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we met them at Osheaga. and these guys are like, they asked a question in the Q&A where they asked if they could be Champagne Boys.
Yeah.
And you gave Max a long-winded answer about the process. And then afterward, Kai just goes, so that's like a long way of saying no? But
it was one of those non-answers, basically.
well, my brother said that, one, they were very disappointed that Dan Hamilton wasn't there because they wanted to see him in full party mode. And I guess he went up to my brother and he was like, hey, Australian Greg, you know? And he essentially told him that he loves the pod. He says, because you guys party like us. He goes, I'm 26 and all I want to do is hang out with my boys every weekend. You guys are a little older and still do that. I hope I'm like you guys when we're your age.
Yeah. No, that's nice. And the one guy, the guy who's
We're
not
role models.
If you want to call it that.
So Kai's buddies, Jeff, is like, I love you guys because everyone always says when you get married and have kids, you stop partying. But you guys are proof that that doesn't need to happen.
Oh, you know what? And another thing, I messaged Jenna. I sent her an email, and I'm actually just going to read this email. So for those of you who listen, you know that Jenna Gregory does for the show all of those amazing doodles that you see.
JennaDoodles.com, I believe.
Yeah. And
Is the email complimentary towards us?
no, this is an email that I sent to Jenna because she was in the house. So
we thanked everybody and we forgot to thank her.
And so I sent her a quick email just saying, I just said, and I'm gonna read this right on our pod because we have the time. So I said, hey Jenna, I'm sorry I didn't get to speak with you very much after the show. I wish I saw you before or had a reminder you were in the crowd! Exclamation point.
Yeah,
exclamation
and then
point.
in brackets, producer Max f***ed up on that one.
I didn't write that. I go, like, the only thing I regret about the show was not making you stand up and take a bow for all the wonderful art you've done for the show. It's a huge part of the pod, and I totally missed an opportunity to have the room acknowledge you. It would have been a nice, deserved moment. Sorry we missed it.
We fucked up.
It's all right, though. She sent one back saying, like, oh, my goodness, don't stress about it. But we wanted to say it here on the pod because every week she comes through with a great drawing.
They've become part of the fabric of the show. So thank you, Jenna. And I saw her at the very end of the night. And I looked up and it was Jenna. I was like, ah!
Yeah, I met her for the first time too.
Oh, you never met her?
That blew my mind when you told me that. That was the first time you've ever met her. So those are all great moments with the people who took the time to come out, buy tickets. Like, honestly, thank you guys. Is there anything else stand out for you, Max or Shane?
No, it just felt really legit having merch. That was the other thing I loved.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
So what we're going to do is there's a really cool Instagram account called The Store. And it's this guy who just makes kind of custom t-shirts and hats based on like vintage Toronto things. So like video. So if you grew up in Toronto, it's like Video 99. Anyway, this is beside the point. The point is he sells it out at 299 Queen. He must be a colleague of yours. And basically you just have to DM him on Instagram and you can drop by between 11 and 5 and just pick up a merch item that you ordered.
Are you making this up?
I swear to God, it's on the Instagram.
And you've already talked to him and this is actually going to happen?
No, we're just going to steal his idea.
Oh. But who's going to go sell this stuff?
They're going to message Webmaster Dan, and then we'll arrange a time. It's not going to happen that often, but Dan will just go downstairs and hand the thing. Or maybe if you guys are free, you'll just hand it over.
I'll hand deliver it. I like this idea.
I'm just saying that we'll put together a little schedule and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be great.
So people will have a way to get the merch if they want.
Get the merch, because a lot of people here's the thing. A lot of people are in downtown Toronto for this or that. You guys work right there. Mm-hmm. And, people shop on Queen Street. Why not make...
So if you don't live locally, how do you get it?
Well, we might ship it to you or something.
Okay.
But if you live in the GTA and you find yourself downtown, we can arrange a little pickup, a little meetup. It'll be very DIY.
I like it.
Yeah, it'll be
like
cool.
Out of the garage, Apple in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. So again, I guess thanks to everybody who came out. We will have the live episode up at some point in February.
Yep.
I think that's it. I mean, should we start getting to Sophie Tucker?
Let's get to it.
We have a guest on this show today, fellas, and it is Sophie Tucker.
And if I remember correctly, we were supposed to interview them at Coachella.
That's correct.
But then I think, producer Max might have got a little lazy or happy with the interviews that we had already gotten.
They might have canceled those.
Or maybe
ones.
they canceled.
I can't remember.
Us.
But
I don't know. Either way.
It was a missed connection in Coachella, but we managed to make it up when they were in Toronto. And Sophie Tucker, it's Sophie, it's Tucker. They're this duo. Their song is the big song right now with the Apple commercial with the new iPhone. Best Friend.
Yeah.
They were interesting to me because Tucker, who's the male in the group, he played ball like at a high level in college. I like this.
He's
man.
a basketball player, so we had a lot to talk about.
They were nominated for a Grammy, obviously, so we got into a lot of that and just how legitimizing of a force that can be when you're sort of like a newish band, and there's certain milestones or things where people go, oh shit, it's for real.
Yeah.
And with the Grammy, you know, I think that's one of those things.
Yeah,
That's like an
validates you to
Oscar
keep
for
working.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Or an American Juno, as they like to call it.
Oh, right.
Well, you guys want to get to Sophie Tucker?
Let's get to it.
So how you guys doing? You guys been on tour, right?
Yeah.
How's that been? You guys going to Montreal tomorrow?
Yeah, we play there tomorrow. We've been on tour with Odessa for over a month now, I guess.
You guys been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been great.
I know you guys did like a ton of festivals. We were covering Coachella where you guys were as well. I'll talk about that in a bit. But is this sort of the first big tour that you guys have been on where you're out for a while?
I guess it's the biggest tour in terms of like rooms and being on a tour bus for this long of a period, and the amount of people and trucks and stuff that go into the tour is like the biggest for sure. But we've kind of just been on the road for a long time.
Do you guys like road living?
Yeah, I think we've gotten. Well, it's a weird thing to get used to. Yeah, I think we sometimes miss our friends, but other than that, it really suits us, I would say.
Yeah.
Was it hard to sort of adjust to that lifestyle in the beginning?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like still an adjustment because every time we go on the road, it's like it's a different thing, and there's kind of a different rhythm to it. But it's just so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it wasn't that much of an adjustment for me, but I was always like, when I played basketball, we were on the road a lot, in buses, staying in hotels, rooming with someone on the team. I don't know. I've kind of been doing this literally since I was like 12. It almost feels like.
You did a lot of traveling team stuff when you hooped?
Yeah.
So so I did read that, and I'm a massive basketball fan personally.
I'll let you guys go. Take it away.
So you can step out.
Yeah, exactly. Are you not? You're not into hoops at all?
No.
All right, that's fine. We'll just do this for like a minute and a half.
Oh, keep going.
So you played college ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got injured? Was that the deal? And then you
I got sick and had to stop, and then tried to keep playing when I went back to school in college, and it wasn't really happening. So then. Yeah, when I got sick is when I learned how to make music, or I taught myself how to like produce music on my computer. But the first 22 years of my life were 100% about basketball. That was gonna be my life. I was gonna play as long as I could, and so things changed. But I'm happy about it now.
Well, it's turned out pretty well for you. But so like, was that like an inherent love for basketball, or is it something you found yourself good at, so you sort of got funneled into it?
Kind of both. My parents are both really big basketball fans. My mom was a great player, and my dad loves basketball. And I grew up in Boston, and they grew up watching Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. And so, around my house growing up, there was like pictures of these sort of basketball idols. But I also am 6'7", and, coordinated. So that helped too.
Totally.
He's very coordinated.
Do you?
I used to be.
So do you not play anymore?
Relatively speaking, he's still very coordinated.
I don't know. No, I don't play at all anymore.
No. So you guys met at Brown, is what I read.
Yeah.
And I'd read that in the beginning, you guys it was more Sophie's songs that you were producing. Mm-hmm. And then you guys sort of shifted the paradigm a bit. What was the reason that you guys shifted sort of the working arrangement?
Actually, I remember there was a song that I had written, and we'd started working on it. And then, it changed a lot, and it actually just became much better. And then we realized that we could kind of just start from scratch. And then the first time we did really start from scratch was with Drinkee. And again, it was a remix at first, and then it kind of morphed, and we added a guitar line, and then we were like, wait, this guitar line is way hotter than anything else that we're working on. Let's just start here and build from scratch and see what happens. And that was the Drinkee guitar line, and then the poem came, and
the rest is history. Yeah. So, we were talking about Tucker's sort of journey to where you guys met. What was your situation like? So you were sort of like learning guitar, sort of doing like singer-songwriter stuff?
Yeah, I was writing acoustic, bossa nova inspired music. I had just spent 6 months living in Brazil, and I came back and I was really inspired. So I was writing a lot of music in Portuguese, and I was also collaborating with this Brazilian poet, Chacal, who we ended up continuing to collaborate with. And yeah, I didn't really know how it would happen, but I wanted to make music my life. And I was planning on moving to Brazil and just sort of continuing to learn as much as I possibly could.
So then you guys meet, and there's sort of like this spark. You realize that, you know, you guys are making great stuff together. I guess my question would be like, so you're going to Brown and you're saying that you wanted music to be your life. Like, I guess my question is always like, when people make music, it's this fun pursuit and it's kind of this cool creative thing. And then at some point it can shift into like, oh, this is going to be like, it's going to be a career. And now the kind of mindset shifts. And some people have a single-minded pursuit of being successful. Did you guys like sort of have that once you got together? Or has it kind of been, hey, this is fun. Wow, people like it. Now we're on this ride.
Well, when we graduated, Tucker convinced me not to move to Brazil and to move to New York with him. And so, you know, I dropped all of my plans and all of our eggs were in one basket. It was like, okay, we're going to try to make music a career. You know, I had 3 months to figure it out from my parents.
Interesting.
And
why?
Well,
like in the sense that it's like you're gonna have to get like a
real job,
a real situation happening
financially.
Yeah.
We're in like a weird spot.
And so we worked really hard to figure out who we were, how to make music together. We were in the studio almost every night after the Knocks. We were working out of their studio, so we would go in at nights and just try and figure things out, try to figure out how the studio worked. And yeah, I mean, we were definitely single-minded. We needed to make it a career before our time ran out.
Yeah. And Tucker, it takes balls to basically tell somebody change your plans completely. What inspired you? Why were you so confident that like, hey, no, this is the thing, upend what you've got planned for yourself. We're going to make this happen.
I don't know. I mean, looking back, it seems like I didn't really have a great reason, but what also seems like I did, you know, knowing that it kind of worked out, but, or did work out. I don't know. I really wanted to go for it. I wanted to make this, like, believed we could do it. I guess I'm saying I don't know why I believed we could do it necessarily.
We didn't have much to show for it, but it was like
But I believed there was something here, and I thought it excited me enough that I was like, I want to try to do I don't know, I'm kind of the person who'll just like, I really want to do something, or like, I'll just try to work really hard, and a big part of me working really hard to do this was working hard to make sure Sophie did it with me, or else it wasn't going to work, because I'm sure I would have tried to make music a career still, and I'm not confident that it would have worked without Sophie. So well, it was like one of those like 2 + 2 = 6 sort of thing.
Yeah, sure.
It was like her stuff alone and my stuff alone wasn't that special, and then when you add them together, for some reason, there was something really cool and special.
Yeah. Well, you guys were nominated for a Grammy, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So, like, walk me through finding out that you're nominated for a Grammy. Because, you know, it's funny, you mentioned that your parents, like, you have 3 months to make it happen. But, like, what's more legitimizing than being nominated for a Grammy in that sense, for, like, sort of outside world to sort of understand what you're doing?
I actually told my parents before I even told Tucker. I found out first.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew you told your parents first.
Yeah.
We're in a fight.
We're in a fight. I couldn't find you.
That's actually exactly, though, you kind of nailed it. What the Grammys did was like parents and parents' friends were like, oh, they're not just some like young kids
just fucking around with music.
It's like, oh, this is like a real career. They're actually doing something. That I feel like that was a big part of what the Grammys did for us.
Maybe I told them after I told you. It was very
I know, she's retracting.
She's digging. Yeah.
Oh, no.
We were on a music video shoot that day, and so we were actually up really early.
Yeah.
And
I got the email first.
she saw it first.
And
She was walking over to me. I had just come out of like wardrobe or makeup or something, and that's right, makeup. And she had this really weird look on her face. and I didn't know. She was like walking towards me, and I knew, I don't know, is either something really bad had happened or something really good had happened.
Sure.
And she was like, I'm going to hug you. And I was like, uh-oh, what the heck? Because we never really hug. We like fist pump.
Sure.
Yeah, she said that, and I didn't really believe her. And then we hugged, and then I looked it up, and it was there. And then I went to my phone, and there was like 300 text
I've never
messages.
seen a phone
blow
up more than Tucker's phone on that day.
320 something.
He didn't read any of them, and then at the very end, he like looked at the number, and it was truly that crazy.
Because we were doing the video. I was like, I can't focus on this right now. I'm trying to stay. We're actually doing this kind of like darker, like
moody.
try to be cool, moody video that we ended up wasting a ton of money on and scrapping.
So I was gonna
because
say
we were smiling the whole time.
Because we were too hyped. we like screwed up the video by being all excited about the Grammy.
so this video will never see the light of day.
No,
it
gosh,
it's
no.
been long gone.
Wow.
We put
Yeah.
out a different thing instead of it.
So like, is there an idea that this nomination's coming? Like, because you have to submit, right?
No, we had no
We didn't know
idea.
we were
Really?
gonna get
No.
submitted.
Wow.
Yeah, like our manager didn't submit us.
Really?
No.
So I don't.
So it literally just came out of the blue. You're like,
Yeah.
holy
it was
shit.
100% out of the blue.
And I don't think, I mean, it took us a
I didn't
while
know
to
that-
realize what it meant.
I didn't even know that was the day the nominations are coming out. It was like not
Right.
something I was like, oh, tomorrow's the day.
You can't sleep the night before.
see.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the music that we made, we never thought that would be like in the realm of the Grammys.
Yeah.
Maybe the Latin Grammys? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess along those lines, does success feel like it's happened quickly for you guys? Because relatively, for some people, it's like they'll go for years and many albums or singles or whatever. But to have a song like Drinkee be nominated for a Grammy pretty quickly out of the gate, does it feel like, oh wow, this happened quick, or do you guys feel like you've been at it for a long time? Time is relative to a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
so
it's also
it's so
success is relative too. Like
that's also true.
we don't want to
Yeah.
just have like one song be nominated for a Grammy and then that's it. Like we want to
Yeah.
have a really long career where we're really growing and learning as people and sort of like just putting out something into the world that we really believe in and hopefully can sustain for a while. And
like each time we go to a city or return to a city, the show's bigger, and it's growing, and we're continually growing and connecting with more and more people.
Organic progress.
Yeah, which we've had a lot of because we've been on the road so much. So it's felt like a sort of just like grind out organic process from our point of view, I think, because we're just like,
we're just in it.
in it and tired and working and happy and
Yeah.
loving it. But it also is, we're definitely aware that stuff like that doesn't necessarily come right away or ever or easy. And, we're definitely trying not to take it for granted.
Yeah.
But we also don't want to ever feel content or anything because
It's not
we're
like,
not
oh,
even
we
like
made
close to where we want.
Totally.
We're not even close to where we want to be or where we want to get to or,
Yeah, I have this conversation with my buddy Matt all the time, and we talk about how like you sort of visualize life as like a video game. Like, oh, when I get to that level, I'll be happy. But the truth is, at every level, there's another level that you want to get to.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of in your mind, you're like, oh, this will make me happy. But then once you get, I think it was Mad Men that says, once you get happiness, what do you want? After a little
Right.
time, you just want more happiness.
Yeah, I mean, I think truthfully, we really are happy with the journey. I mean, the journey is the fun part.
Well, I think the goal is to keep the journey
Going. Yeah.
forever because the journey is so fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we get to travel and we get to meet people and we get to create and we get to feel insane adrenaline often. And there's so many things that like I feel like the next level would be like just keep doing that on different scales and different levels, but like continue the journey sort of.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned you guys were on a video that you completely scrapped. How involved, because your videos are like remarkable and very colorful. How involved are you guys in like the creative concept? I was going to say conception, the concept, and then even the direction when you guys do these videos. Are you guys really hands-on?
Yeah, we're really hands-on. I mean, it depends on the video to what extent, but like for instance, our song "Fuck They," we wrote the treatment for that video, and then shared it with our dream director. We were like, we really hope he'll make this manifest, and He said
Canadian?
yes. Yeah, he's Canadian. Mac Boucher. We filmed it in
Hey.
Toronto.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't
He's
know.
amazing.
Just
He
around
did all the
corner.
Grimes videos.
Oh yeah.
Because that's his sister. And we were like, who does the Grimes videos? Those are the best videos ever. We want to work with that person. Turns
Yeah.
out it was her brother. Turns out he's the man.
Yeah.
And
He's the best.
and now he's like a good friend of ours. We just did we just did the best friend video also with him. He came to Ibiza and we all like,
That looked like a fun
Had a
video to
party.
make.
That was really fun. I think that was really, like, initially, I think that was Tuck's brainchild. He was like, what if we just went to Ibiza with all of us? Because Nerve was going to be there anyway.
well, yeah.
And then we enlisted Mac, and Mac just sort of enhanced it beyond belief.
Yeah.
He was like, what if we rented RVs? And then
Yeah.
everybody, you know,
No, I said
everybody
the RV.
styled it.
He
Oh,
said
did
like
you?
scooters, and I was
Oh.
like, nah,
That's hilarious.
ATVs.
It's
not
ATV, sorry. Oh, gosh.
RV would have been fun too.
Everyone styled it themselves. It was their own clothes.
it was
you know,
just super,
everyone
like-
was just being themselves.
I like the idea of writing in
Crazy.
fun shit into your own video. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, literally, I was like, what would we want to do?
With our friends.
Because we were going to play a show in Ibiza. It was Nervo's party. And then we were like, okay, if we get the rest of the people in the song, the Knox and Elisa ended up playing the concert too, what would we want to do on a, like,
let's
fake
rent a beautiful
vacation
house.
in Ibiza, like, with actual friends of ours, and we can all stay there and just have fun. And it, like, worked out, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
It was literally, like,
It
so
was
fun.
insane. I remember
then
this
we were
moment.
just
J
like-
Pat and I were just looking at the sunset, and we were like, wow, life. Oh my gosh.
Then I was like, we left that weekend, and I was like, shit, I really hope the video shows how fun this weekend
Yeah.
was. Because,
yeah.
like, it was so fun. And the song is fun, and we wanted it to show. And I think it does show. But it really was genuinely that fun of a time.
Yeah.
We were not faking it.
I was in a band a few years ago. We were on a label and all that stuff, and we'd do these videos, and I would like write the concepts as well. And we did this one at a beach, and so I was like, oh, we want to go on like Sea-Doos because it'll be fun. But then the minute we got on the Sea-Doos, they made us wear life jackets because
Oh,
it's like these
no.
Ontario regulations.
Right.
And I was like, there's no way we can put this in the video with us in the least cool thing ever is us in the life coats on
Right.
these Sea-Doos. But so they're like, so we want to cancel the Sea-Doos. Like, well, let's shoot it, and then we'll see if we keep it. And then so we shot the whole thing, and it never made the video.
But you did it.
Oh, it was the best. It was so fun. Yeah.
So, all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes in like the video budget.
Exactly. It's
like,
we're not spending it.
perfect.
Totally. You guys, the new song's obviously on the iPhone commercial, which is like a big deal. Do you guys get asked about that a lot on this
Yeah.
press?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Well, there's so many. Well, the thing is about
Not
that.
mad about it.
No, shit.
Very
I'll
happy
talk about it all
day.
There's those commercials. I feel like there's a lot of songs that become immediately a part of sort of like the cultural zeitgeist, like whether it was like Jet or Feist. When you guys something like that comes up, what goes through your minds, like an opportunity like that? Are you guys like gunning for that, or are they coming to you and saying, "Hey, we want to use this song"?
We totally weren't gunning for it. We weren't gunning for anything with this song. We literally
We
made
didn't
this
even know we
song.
would release it.
We didn't think we were
Really?
going to
Yeah.
put it out
that
necessarily. It was just like a fun song we made with our friends.
Yeah.
That we were like, it's about friendship, so let's have all our friends jump on the track and like do this funny thing. It's not really, there's not really like a chorus and verses, and I don't know. You just, I didn't.
Yeah, I think some people heard it and they were like, cool, but
Like,
is
what
it
is it?
what is it?
Is it a
Yeah, it's unconventional in a lot
and
of
we were
ways.
like, we don't know.
It's a
Maybe we
thing.
shouldn't. I don't know. We love it.
But yeah, so then Apple came, I guess our publishers or our
I
managers
think they heard like all the songs. we've been
send
working
like
on.
all the songs we've been working on, and I don't know, one day we got an email saying Apple is thinking about putting this in a thing, but they never told us what it would be for until it came out, because no one knew there was like a new phone.
Yeah.
So like they can't, they're so secretive. They don't like give away that just because it's our song on the commercial. So we knew like maybe it was for an Apple Watch or like the 8 or like,
Yeah.
like we didn't know it was like going to be a whole big campaign thing for a whole new phone.
Or that they would
and
have the poop emojis like doing that.
their emojis would be
part.
singing the song.
So
like
cool.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. You were mentioning the Canadian director. You spent some time in Victoria, BC growing up, right?
Yeah. I went to high school, 9th and 10th grade, or I guess grade 10 and grade 9.
There you go.
Yeah, in Victoria. And my parents lived there for like 8 years, so I would always go back home to Canada.
Wow. So do you feel like, I feel like this is like the, stock Canadian question. Do you feel like there's like a real sort of, you understand the Canadian culture because you grew up in it?
Yeah, a little bit. And I definitely feel at home. I think I really fell in love with nature when I moved to Canada. And so every time I'm back, we were just in Vancouver, which is close. And I really sort of felt that homecoming to just, to be cheesy about it, I felt like so in touch with nature when I was living in Victoria.
So cheesy.
So cheesy. And that really is, I don't know, the biggest thing that Canada means to me today, I guess. Yeah. And my parents are Canadian citizens now, but I'm not.
One day, maybe?
Yeah, I have to live here for a while. I think that's the rule.
Right. You guys are based in New York now, right?
Yeah.
You love New York?
Love it, yeah.
Love it.
Right.
Miss it.
Yeah, I just came back from there. I was just interviewing Noel Gallagher in New York on Monday.
way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty
Is that
sweet.
Noel Gallagher?
That's Liam.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good guess. 50-50.
We just watched the Oasis documentary on the
Supersonic.
plane. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I love that documentary.
It was great.
Crazy.
He just played in L.A. Well, Liam just played in L.A.
Yeah.
Like, last night.
He was at Osheaga, which you guys were at, right?
Yeah, we were only there for like 2 hours.
I know, we were
like
covering
popped
it
in
last
and
year.
then had to go to Lollapalooza.
We got the catering though.
Yeah.
Oh, that catering is so good.
That's like what everybody talks about. At Osheaga.
I
It's
still
real.
remember it.
Yeah.
I remember going in, I'm like, there's no way it's going to be that good.
Yeah, it
This
was.
is all everyone talks about, and it was actually
was.
that good.
It delivered.
It delivered.
Yeah. Well, speaking of festivals, I want to talk a bit about Coachella because I saw Sophie get up with local natives.
Yeah.
And I guess the question would be, when it comes to things like that, are you guys sort of spontaneous with performance, or are you guys very sort of prepared? Do you guys like to have time to be like, this is what a performance should be like? Or are you guys kind of more like, let's just get up and do shit?
I think
I mean, definitely when it comes to our own show,
Yeah.
prepared, like
Okay.
100%. Sophie was trying to put a new song in our set the other day.
yeah.
Like for
I
the
try to
show
be more
in Detroit
spontaneous
like
and
2
Tucker's
days
way
ago.
smarter.
You're not
And I
having
was
it, though?
like, absolutely not. If we don't have the exact, like, if you're not perfectly prepared for this, we are not going to go do it in front of people.
Okay.
Because that, no,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't, no. That's not how we do it.
No, yeah, we're really prepared. I mean, we have like dances for everything, and there's definitely moments of spontaneity that are natural, but it's
There's a lot of
Prepared.
space for
Yeah.
spontaneity and like being loose and crazy. And we always do different things and like laugh at each other on stage and stuff. But there's got to be
Tucker mostly laughing at me.
mostly. But there's got to be like preparation. Yeah, I don't know. We've like realized like being super loose but focused is like the goal of when you're on stage. But when you're just super loose and kind of on the borderline of like
Delirium.
unprepared and not
Sure.
focused, it's like not
a
cool to be
disaster.
loose.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to be loose and super out there if you're like in it. You know what I mean?
There's room to work within structure, but if you don't have the structure,
Right.
then
right.
Is that what
I
you
don't know if it's even structure. It's just like
It's more
like-
about the mental.
yeah, like
state
if
of
you're not
mind.
like
Ah.
prepared and you know like exactly what you're going to be doing, like if you don't practice, you're going to have to think about the guitar part you're playing, or you're going to have to think about the words, or you're going to have to think about, okay, what do I do next? And then you can't put on a
Flow,
good
right.
show.
it's hard to be in it if you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And then you're not loose, and then you're kind of like choppy on stage, and then it's not smooth, and I don't know.
Yeah, thinking definitely takes us out of being
So
in the
and when
flow.
you're not prepared, you're always thinking.
Gotcha.
So that's why I think being prepared is so important.
In this, like you said, this last year, playing all these shows, do you guys find that the two of you hang out more or less off the stage because you're together so often?
I actually think we hang out more.
We hang out all the time.
Still.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, we're literally always together.
Yeah.
We're like just traveling together all the time.
But it's not like
even
when you get to a
we
city,
Even
get
when
back-
we're in New York, we're
when
like,
we get
what's
back
up?
home,
What are you
though,
doing?
it's kind of like, no, we kind of still hang.
Yeah.
All right.
It's weird. There's a couple days. Well, when she
When I
had
got
like
sick, that was
headache
different.
stuff going on and some migraine stuff, and I didn't see her for like
It was like 2 weeks. maybe
2.5
3.
weeks. I like went on a couple trips without her and everything, like work trips.
I saw you did shows and you were
Yeah, I
Skyped
had
in. I
to,
saw this
like,
on
do
Twitter.
DJ
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It was so weird.
It was so weird.
Had a really fun trip to Vegas though.
Yeah, I was having a blast. Blast in my dark room.
All right. Well, lastly, I guess, this last year and a bit has been pretty incredible. What would your hopes be for 2018? I guess it's a big question, but
we can do it. We got this.
My hopes
For 2018.
Yeah, next year.
specifically.
Well, we already know our whole schedule for 2018.
Okay, shit. Let's go. Let's do a 5-year plan.
2019. I literally know what we're going to do every day in 2018. Until the summer, at least. Half of it. Or maybe through further than that.
I think.
5-year plan?
5-year plan.
Oh,
Whoa.
gosh. What?
That's too far now?
It's definitely not a plan, but I don't know. I just want to be able to keep making things that we love, not have it be like diluted, and not have it get too much about other things. I want it to stay about
Music.
making things that makes us happy, makes us want to dance and feel good and connects with people. Because there's so many other things. Like, this is the first song we've ever had go to top 40 radio and stuff. And there's a lot of things that go with that. And some of it's great. We get to come and talk to people and meet people in cities and go to radio and do all these things. It's really fun. But there's also just crap I think that comes with it that I want to make sure in the next 5 years we still do us,
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Yeah, really important. And I was going to say, I really want to, I think it happened really organically. We were just talking about this the other day. We didn't know when we started the band that we would end up sort of standing for joy and inclusivity and connection and community and sort of safe spaces. All of that,
colorfulness
happened really, really organically. But now it's all of a sudden people are telling us so you're known, you're known for this. And fans are telling us that. And it's really, really cool. And it kind of happened by accident, but I want the band to continue to embrace that in a way that just feels everything is about the music.
These colorful tattoos. So.
Everything is about the music, and it starts with the music, but also I'm excited to sort of see it expand to be about more than the music and connect with people in a way that's really meaningful to them.
Totally. I agree with that, even though it almost sounds like we said the opposite
Yeah,
thing.
but I totally agree with
but
you too.
We also,
right.
I know.
We just don't want to get caught up in stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But we do want to put.
Also just never want to stop rocking fun ass parties.
Yeah.
And just having people have a great time. Personally, I want to be
and I
the
wanna
40-year-old
always have
DJ.
Have the good time.
Getting it popping.
Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thank you.
I'm not
Thank
going to
you.
be 40 in 5 years also.
Just want to clarify that.
Just for the record. Wait.
Let's the secret out.
Wait.
There it is.
Yeah. You were a Larry Bird fan. That was the 80s, man.
Okay, I watched tapes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
DVDs.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to the dessert. I am here with my friend and pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. Shane, what's going on?
Well, Max had to leave to do a little bit of recording.
We're at the studio where the Arkells are recording at this moment.
Yeah, this is probably the nicest place we ever recorded, actually.
Yeah. And this is a bit of a different dessert. Do you want to kind of set it up for the listeners?
Well, I had a friend. I guess I have a friend. I don't know, actually. This guy named Cam Ballantyne. He was my best friend from kindergarten to grade 5. He won the Red Bull DJ championships that they hold he won the Canadian division of that. So technically, he might be the best DJ in all of Canada. And he's going to the Worlds in Poland to compete for the World Championships.
Yeah, it's huge.
His manager actually reached out to us.
Yeah.
Not knowing that Cam and I had this history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had no idea.
Well, he's like a Hamilton guy. I went to school with his sister and his brother.
Yeah, Cam is a Hamilton guy, and
Yeah, not the manager.
the manager actually is a former student of my wife's. So he's a young, up-and-coming manager.
Right.
Anyway, I was very excited to talk to Cam, not only to get to know the world of DJing.
And celebrate his accomplishment.
Yeah, that too. But I wanted to figure out what kind of happened between us, because honestly, we were the closest friends ever. We were inseparable. Cam and I had all the same interests, hanging out every day, sleepovers, all that stuff. And I just want to figure out what happened. So we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about the world of DJing, and we're also going to maybe get to the bottom of this mystery. It's probably more of a benefit for me than Cam, this promotion. But anyway, let's see what happens.
All right, we are here with DJ Cam B.
What up?
We're also here with Walter.
What do you
Walter
go by,
Dean.
Walter?
I just go by my normal name.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like,
don't have like a cool name.
I wondered if you had like a
Yeah.
fancy, like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like DJ Cam B
No,
and
it's hard.
Walter.
DJ Destruction.
It's hard to think of a name.
Did you ever have a different
No,
name?
I tried. Like, it's hard unless you like were a DJ in the '90s. You know, like back then it was easy to come up with names.
When all the good names were taken?
Yeah. Now it's just like everyone just uses their name now. So
Oh.
I was like, I gotta, can be.
It's like domain names. You'll
Right.
never get a
You'll
good
never-
domain
yeah,
name anymore.
exactly.
You know?
Right.
So the reason that you are here is because, one, you guys are both Hamilton guys, which is awesome, and always great to have Hamilton guys on. We know each other. Like, you guys would DJ at Che, and we would be shaking our asses there on Friday nights. And now, DJ Cam B, you like are competing in the Red Bull Freestyle World Finals in Krakow, Poland. Did I say that right?
Yep. Poland. yeah.
Krakow?
Krakow.
Krakow. I think.
Krakow, Poland.
Krakow.
That's pretty sweet. So congratulations, man. How did you like get there? How did that happen?
I had to submit a 5-minute routine to Red Bull, and I was just like, yeah, I'll try it out. Didn't think I'd get in, and then I got an email like a few weeks later asking if I could do it. I was like, can I swear?
Yeah, man. Go crazy.
Yeah.
I keep like stopping myself like,
Trying to remix your words.
Fucking do it, you fuckers at Red Bull.
So anyway,
You
Fucking A.
pieces of shit.
I forgot to ask that. So
I was like, oh my God, he's freezing.
so anyways, yeah, I got in. I didn't expect it at all, and I was really happy. And then I got really anxious because like now I have to actually make a set, right? And like actually go to Vancouver and go in front of all these people and DJ. And so anyways, it was a struggle. Like I was like, oh no, like what am I gonna do? And then I won it. I was just like, wow.
Even to get in at this point, it's really hard to get in because
Yeah.
only 6 people out of like hundreds of video submissions even get in because they don't do regionals or anything. It's just like a national final. So
Wow.
out of hundreds of people, he was one of the 6 that got in. So he was just happy to get in.
So does this mean that you're the best DJ in Canada as of right now? Like,
No, it's like
well, yeah. You're the best.
no. There's so many good DJs in Canada. There's just
Walter's answer was way cooler.
there's so many good DJs. There's like DJs I look up to, like past winners,
Yeah.
who have like DJ Headspin.
Oh, yeah.
Like
He's the best.
you don't know, but like
He's the best up and coming DJ right now.
That's
So you're like
amazing.
rookie of the year, kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, okay,
yeah.
what we're going to do is you're going to play a bit for us so that our listeners can hear exactly what you do, how you won this contest, why you were going to Poland.
Okay.
And like we said, because we all know each other from Hamilton back in the day, Shane's going to have some questions about DJ life and all sorts of stuff.
sure.
So, want to do some music right now?
sure.
All right, let's do it. Listeners, settle in. Listen to DJ Cam B.
Don't start till I say hit it.
Okay.
Hit it. Then we'll edit it in.
Okay. You want to scratch and get it?
We'll keep that part. And then we edit it in. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's stuff you were doing. That was called scratching.
That's scratching, yeah.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Now, Cam, growing up,
Yeah.
when we were kids,
Yeah.
I don't recall you ever saying, I'm into scratching records.
No, it came to me like high school, at grade 9, I think.
And when did you meet Walter?
Grade 9, right?
Yeah, grade 9.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Because would you say Walter's your best friend?
yes.
Would you say at one point you and I were best friends?
We were. And then what happened?
There's a new sheriff in town.
Kindergarten. I think it was kindergarten to grade 5.
You
right?
and I, yeah.
I mean, grade 4 maybe. I don't know.
It's a long time.
What do you think happened that kind of like ended our friendship?
I don't know. I think I started hanging out with. No, you know what happened? You were hanging out with Steve Coons.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's leave that hanging in the air.
You were hanging out with other people. A different class, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think we stopped hanging out like
Before that?
before middle school. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, back to DJ questions. What's the difference between, like, you know how a guy will say he's a DJ and then he will show up at a party and just plug his iPhone in?
Yeah.
What's the difference between that guy and you guys?
It's details. It's one of those things where you can get by just playing music, and it's not as obvious like as if you can't play piano and you're booking a piano gig. People aren't going to complain. They're playing some hit songs, you know. It works for some places. Some places they need like an actual DJ to like make things to have credibility and all that stuff.
If I was to say THG, would you know what that meant?
No.
Would you, Cam?
Yeah.
What would that mean?
Treehouse guys.
Yeah, that was our old. Back when we were young, we used to always be in tree houses.
Yeah. We had tree houses.
It'd be weird if I knew that. 'Cause I wasn't there, right?
I was just testing Cam. Those were good times, though.
Yeah, we're treehouse guys. I got. I think your first big treehouse guys party. I couldn't make it to it. What
I
happened?
know, that was sad.
What was it? It was your birthday.
Yeah, it was. Why? Because it was Mother's Day, wasn't it? You had to do some Mother's
I
Day.
did something. I don't know. I don't know. I forget what it was.
Yeah, that was. I don't want to say the beginning of the end, but
But there was a second one. There's a second treehouse.
there
guys.
was. You made it.
I made it to the second one.
Yeah.
Was there a third or no?
There was a third.
Was
Yeah,
there?
Coons was there.
Coons.
And do you remember that one day you and I were supposed to have a sleepover, and your brother Aaron like fell down like the escarpment or something, and like cracked and had to get like.
Oh, that was
stitches?
me. I fell down the escarpment.
That wasn't Aaron.
I got the scar right here.
Holy shit.
It was
and then
me.
I was
You're-
like, we're still gonna have the sleepover, right? And you're like, yeah, man. And then we couldn't.
I got stitches.
Yeah. Would you say this is your biggest accomplishment to date in DJing?
Winning the 3-style. Yeah.
If you were ever to get married, do you think that I would be invited to your wedding?
Yeah.
You do?
I mean, if you want to come, yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't
And
think
if
we're
it
getting
took
married.
place in a
Yeah.
treehouse.
If it did, yeah.
And who would DJ your wedding? Would it be Walter?
I wouldn't have a DJ. I don't think.
No.
Nah.
All right. Let me go back to the book here. Do you ever wish you could turn back the clock and do things differently?
I don't know. No.
Like specifically between grade 4 and grade 5.
I don't know. I can't remember. Honestly, no, I can't remember.
No?
I can't.
All right.
What happened? I don't know.
I don't know, man. That makes one of us, I guess.
You could have toughed it out and made it to the Treehouse Boys.
It's
volume
Treehouse
two.
Guys, Walter, and
I
this
mean-
is a Cam and I thing.
I mean, I can see the answers. I'm trying to help out.
All right, what else do I got here?
I have a DJ question.
Yeah.
So you guys DJ together.
Yeah.
That's how I know you guys.
Yeah.
But then obviously Cam's done the 3-style. So like, will you continue to DJ together and he does the 3-style because it's more specific?
Oh yeah, well, we'll definitely continue after the 3-style, and I'm helping him with the 3-style, just like and kind of like a coach.
Do you remember when you used to be a DJ for a rap group?
Yes.
What was that rap group?
Crocodile Mile.
Yeah. Who is the lead rapper in that?
It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Were you the lead guy?
Well, there was two of us, and since he's not here, I'll say I was. The other guy. But you quit that group.
Yeah. I went solo.
Why'd you quit? We really could have been using a Red Bull champion right about now.
Cam's in the hot seat right now.
No, it was, what happened? I don't know. You guys want, I don't know what it was. I forget.
Did the
You got a new
lyrics
DJ
offend
though.
you?
No, I liked it. It was funny. But what happened? There was a new DJ.
Well, there's only a new DJ because you quit.
Yeah,
We had to replace you.
I don't remember why. I just quit.
Well, Steve Coon started managing you guys.
I honestly don't remember. It was just like, I forget. All I remember is one day you guys came over to borrow a record of mine.
Did we return it?
I don't know if you did. It was a white record.
Damn. Do you know
So
what?
he remembers some stuff about it.
It wasn't a big deal. It was white.
When do you go?
February 5th.
Are people able to watch it
Do you
online?
have
Yeah,
a plus one?
You know who that plus one's going to be, Shane.
Walter.
Steve Coons.
Yeah. No.
Wait a second. We never got to the bottom of why you don't like Steve Coons.
Oh, I don't know. I forget.
You thought he was cocky.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
If you had a message for Steve Coons right now, what would you say?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Ouch.
Yeah. This is a pretty blistering message.
No, I don't know. I forget.
So, but people...
Oh, go ahead. Go.
No, I want to hear what you're going to say.
I just forget. Never mind.
Take that, Steve.
Do you have plans for the 20,000 for when you win it?
No, obviously not.
Cam has like DJ dysmorphia. Like he was watching sets that weren't even close to as good as his set, in my opinion. Like we're not talking shit, but he was like, "Oh no, oh God, I've lost it." Like, we're doing that live, and then he goes on and kills it.
I get why you guys were best friends growing up, because you, Shane, display a lot of those traits where like you'll get all stressed out or you think it doesn't go well, but then it's like you won. Mm-hmm. Much like, you know.
I know. Me, Cam, and I were very similar.
Yeah.
And I'm like I was very into video games when I was young.
Sega Genesis, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still obsessed with Sega.
Are you?
Yeah, I got one
You're
of those.
still stuck in that treehouse wishing you were
know.
best friends with Cam and playing
I know.
Genesis.
It's like I haven't evolved since Cam left. Like I have a projector, and with the new Sega console that has like built-in 140 games, and
It's just a slideshow of you and Cam every night.
But I play it every night. Yeah.
Video games every night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you still on the video games, Cam?
Not really, no. I'd like to be, though.
Would you ever be open to being best friends again?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
Best friends though?
Best friends? I can have two best friends.
You can? How would you feel about that, Walter?
Well, I mean, I kind of thought I was the main one, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I was the first one.
yeah.
Is there enough room in the treehouse for three guys?
There is, definitely.
The Treehouse Boys, as Walter would say.
We're the Treehouse Men now.
We'll always be Treehouse guys.
Thanks so much for coming on. No problem. Good luck in Poland. That's it. That's all. That's our episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, thank you to Sophie Tucker for coming on the show. And thank you to everyone for coming out to the live show.
We're going to figure out a way to do it again. Maybe we'll do it in Hamilton this time. You can find us online on Instagram and Twitter at Mike on Much. Please follow us. Also, leave a comment and ratings in iTunes. That helps the show grow. And also, just tell your friends about the show. That's like the best way to spread the word.
The Mike and Much podcast is produced by Max Kerman. I am your host, Mike Veerman. See you next week if we don't die on the weekend.